Speaking of Edge, speaking of AEW, a couple of pieces of news came out this week in the last day after we finished our show yesterday. As we were going off the air, it was broken because they had I'll call it a surprise press conference at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, where the Rangers play. They are bringing All In to Texas next year. All In Texas is actually what it's called, and it's going to happen a month earlier than usual for All In, which has been an August show. It's a July 12th show. So we're only 11 months out of the next All In. Tony Khan did make it clear they're going back to the UK for 2026. So maybe, who knows? Was it a conflict in terms of schedule? Was it the fact that they have kind of found something in Arlington at that esports arena for those Collision residency shows? There's been a lot of talk. We've talked about it on here of the fact that WWE has found a lot of success in selling their shows to cities and venues. It's why I think Australia is having those kind of discussions in those stadiums and places and deal makers with AEW. Because you're seeing the popularity of wrestling as a whole. Yes, WWE is always going to lead the way on that. But you ask anybody who's been in the wrestling business, they'll say it's cyclical, which is both true and untrue. I think it's a cop-out sometimes, especially by business people who aren't doing good business. But when business is good in WWE and it's a product, that's going to bring up the overall interest in professional wrestling, which is a trickle-down effect of, hey, I watched Raw and there's wrestling in town. Hey, the wrestling's in town. Let's go see it. And indie promotions will go, hey, the people you're seeing on Raw and SmackDown and AEW and all that, they were here first. Good promotions will do that. AEW in Ohio, Beyond Wrestling in the Massachusetts Northeast area. Defy. Obviously, that was a big thing for PWG for a while. And I know there's personal issues of why PWG is not running right now. That's unfortunate. But these places can promote and be like, came up through here first. OTT, getting JD McDonough and Finn Balor to show up. So that's good. That's a trickle. Everybody should be rooting. It's great for the wrestling business. And I would think, Tony Khan has way more business contacts in the sports and entertainment world than people realize. There's a reason why when WCW went away, TNA didn't really get on anything major other than Spike, and it wasn't for that long. For a good amount of time, but they didn't stick there, and they've never landed the same kind of TV deal since then. Destination America and Pop TV and all that, whatever the hell it was. Tony Khan got AEW on Turner Broadcast Networks because of who he is and who he knows and the conversations he's able to have and the negotiations he's able to do. And I'm sure that was a big part of why AEW is going to bring a show that, and I looked this up, for concerts can fit over 40,000 people. Which is, who knows what they'll set up for wrestling, whether it's less than that or whatever. And I think a lot of people, if you've gone to concerts at a baseball stadium, I watched Noah Khan at Fenway Park recently, center field. That's typically, I was at Citi Field the other night watching the Mets. And there's a big cutout in the back of center field where you can see, hey, this is where concerts happen. So, WWE has run baseball stadiums. They ran Minute Maid Park for, Royal Rumble. They've run Tropicana Field for the Thunderdome, and they've run it for other stuff. Baseball fields are different. They ran, was it Arizona for a Rumble a couple years ago, where the Diamondbacks play? Is it Chase Field, if it's even still called that? So they could put a lot of people in an outdoor stadium, outdoor, indoor, covered up, whatever, in July. Just a little hot there. But that's a great sign. That's good. And I talk about, good signs for the wrestling industry as a whole. Tony keeps talking about those announcements that are imminent. I would assume this was one of them. I think that delivers. I think people are still sitting on that TV deal announcement. I think that's coming soon. It's a matter of time when you want to drop that news. Perhaps that's the week between All Out and All In. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But AEW was the number one show on cable on Wednesday night. 0.23 in the demo, which is why they were number one, because of their demo. 703,000 viewers, which is right on, I think, the average of the last month. It's not a big number. And I put a tweet up talking about that. And I said, what a great, I'll pull it up. I'll read my own tweet. Because I said, Dynamite and Raw both having great ratings performances in the same week is a hell of a thing. Enjoy it, everybody. And I believe that. And I'll say that again. Because it is a good thing. Raw has a massive number, had multiple segments go over 2 million. That's the top. They're number one. WWE's number one. Everybody else is not even about chasing them. They're not going to catch them. They've got a big head start. Monday's Raw did not go up against other wrestling. Tuesday's NXT did not go up against other wrestling. Dynamite on Wednesday did not go up against other wrestling. You can compare them as wrestling fans, but those companies typically are not. Those TV companies are aware of what's going on, but when fans compare, it doesn't make a lot of, NXT's close to Dynamite. Okay. So what? They're not running against each other. This is not 1999. This is not 1998, 7, 6. There are not shows running against each other each and every week. And come January, we're not going to know about ratings. WWE will absolutely do PR of, hey, this is the internal numbers, and no one will be able to check those. And they can do that, and that is smart. Go for it. Tout it. They're very good at touting that stuff. That's what big companies do. It is smart. There used to be an email that was sent out once the TKO thing happened to all of us at WWE employees. And it would be a daily email of everything great that Endeavor was doing. Whatever, there was some name of it. Mark Shapiro would send it out. Sure, rah, let's go. We did it. And WWE puts those graphics out. And you know what? Why? They're always selling their product. Go for it. Sell your product. Attract advertisers, attract other celebrities, attract people, attract cities that want that is smart business. I'm not knocking that. I'm just telling you they do that. AEW should tout their success as well. But I put that up and someone's like, well, they're down, blah, blah, blah. You can't compare the numbers. I'm not comparing the numbers. You're comparing the numbers. 1.78 versus 700. No! One has nothing to do with the other. They're both wrestling companies. I understand that. Simpletons need to go compare those numbers. It does not matter. This is not the Monday Night Wars. This is not a one company trying to put the other out of business. Everyone can exist. Wrestling as a whole is hot. WWE is the hottest. But if a television show gets to number one on a given night, it's a success. When you compare ratings from 4 years ago, you are not looking at the right numbers. Those channels are available on less and less cable systems. These streaming deals, all of this stuff matters. So if I say, hey, Dynamite they were the number one show on Wednesday night. That has nothing to do with Raw. And Raw being the number one show or close to it on Monday, and that has nothing to do with AEW. I'm sure it's easy YouTube fodder and podcast fodder. Well, this great. And it doesn't matter. Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the Wrestling Mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette.
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partners. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.